in the universe are enormous. And the distances to the first intelligent life form that could have done something like this is so far that it would take 100,000 years just to travel here. So, UFOs are not the way that this happened. So you have to ask yourself this question. If UFOs aren't the property that brought the DNA here, and they weren't just playing some high school game that let's throw out the DNA and see what happens.
Exactly. And if it didn't develop in the soup, then what does that leave us with?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think that they would have been that reckless. When we go to Mars, we wear protective outfits to keep us from carrying bacteria there. And I'm sure that the UFOs would be at least that considerate of this planet. So there's 1,000 different reasons why the UFOs didn't come here. But if you've got to stop and think for a moment. Here we have these enormous entities called UFOs. The one we saw was over a mile long. The kinds of things that it did, performed in the air, were absolutely something out of Walt Disney. I mean, it was amazing to me. The front part of it disappeared, for example. And I'm not talking about fading away. I'm talking about
gone,
and not to ever return again. But if you were to look at the nature of DNA here, and the number of UFOs that are proliferating this Earth at this time, because they're really quite common. More than people know. Just because you haven't had a DNA experience means absolutely nothing, because there's at least 5 to 9 million people in this country who have had a up close and real experience with UFOs. 9 million people. That's 5% of the people in this country have had a upfront and close experience with a UFO.
True. Yeah.
So there's a lot of them out there. Why would you got to sit back and ask the question? All right, here we have DNA. It's on this planet, and here we have this enormous number of UFOs that are coming here and visiting us, even though they're good at hiding and good at not interfering with the endeavors of man, except they have a fetish for the genital parts of animals, Yeah. And I have a reason for that too, but we'll get to that in a second. But you get to this point where you've got this situation that is unbalanced. It doesn't have an answer. We're back in the same chair Crick was in, saying, tell me the answer.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, I got to know the answer. If it's not aliens and it's not the primordial soup litmus test that we stirred around in a beaker, what is it? And I ask this question, which even makes it more complicated. I ask people, well, what would be the most significant event in the universe that could happen here on the Earth and didn't happen anywhere else?
It's a creator. A visitation by a creator.
A visitation by a creator and an event surrounding the life of a Messiah. This world, according to the scriptures, and you've
looked at all of them.
Yeah, more than anybody you know.
Yep.
According to the scriptures, this world is filled with the most wicked people in the universe, and it's also filled with some of the best people in the universe. Kind of a balance, And that's the only event large enough that has an impact on the entire cosmos. The event that happened around the Messiah had an effect everywhere in the cosmos, and no other rocky planet had that event. None.
You're convinced of that?
Yeah. We know, we talk about Billy and Betty Hill,
Yeah. Barney and Betty.
Barney and Betty. He was a quasi clergyman, and he had the presence of mind of asking the aliens when they were doing what they were doing to him. They said, "Well, what about Jesus?" Of course, that would be a thought in his head when he's being examined by aliens. I'd ask that question. And they told him, they said, the Messiah is the Messiah of our